Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. Swish on location. Brought to you by Swish Gaming, live at Galactic Toys and Games in Kentwood, Michigan. Steven, we've gotten to watch three sweet matches. Are you ready for the fourth and the finale?
Wyatt's back, dude. Of course I'm ready. D&T enthusiast, Wyatt, the youngster, up-and-coming tax collector, 3-0, playing for his 4-0, and he's playing against something spicy today, we've heard.
This
Uh,
is Minotaur Storm.
yes, Minotaur Storm, and I don't really know what Minotaur Storm even means.
I don't either.
Uh, yeah, I guess there's just a big spell that's like 8 mana that goes and gets 3 Minotaurs or something, or four out of your deck and puts them into play. And that's what Lucas is ramping into here. And I guess you just kill your opponent immediately with the ones you get. I don't know much about it other than that. It's basically a blue-red storm deck with a pretty hilarious kill condition.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And believe post board they play like Ario Flame. But we'll
Yep.
see that momentarily, see what's going on, see what cool stuff is going to happen. All right, 3-0 Lucas versus 3-0 Wyatt. Wyatt's back on camera. He's ready to battle. Who is going to be the champion today? Let's find out.
So we have our players shuffling up here, getting ready to rock and roll. I'm very interested to watch Lucas play his deck. Because like I said, I don't know really what in the world is going on. I remember he was talking before the event started about he needed Strike at Riches for his deck. So I assume Strike at Rich is going to be involved. Um, and obviously Wyatt, there's the Yorion being revealed.
Trying to
He's
see if we
playing
get a
like a
little idea by showing. He does play remands, if that helps.
Yep, yep. There they are. You can see one at the bottom of the deck there. But yeah, we know Wyatt is playing like a black-white mid-range pile, um, and we'll see how this goes.
Indeed, we will. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen here.
I would imagine that it's a pretty okay matchup for Wyatt, considering that they're excuse me, considering that he's got a lot of just hand disruption effects, such as Grief, Ephemerate. He's doing some of that. He's got Elite Spellbinder. These are all things that are going to be pretty good in this matchup. Um, he'll be able to kind of get some tempo with Aether Vial. We'll see what happens. I think Wyatt will be slightly favored, though, is my guess.
He's going to go and take a look, make sure his sideboard's correct before he offers the cut. It looks like he might have forgot
Yep.
the.
Fair enough. So while he does that, we'll just kind of talk a little more about what's going on here. So, yeah, again, I think Wyatt's going to be a little favored in the matchup, but I do think it's going to be close. Lucas clearly is probably playing his deck fairly well and effectively because you don't get to 3-0 with nonsense like Minotaur Storm without playing pretty well, regardless if you're at FNM or not. I expect some good piloting out of Lucas. So I'm excited to watch this match. It'd be pretty hilarious if Minotaur Storm can 4-0 our FNM. Not many people can say that.
I don't know
So
how many people in the world could say they 4-0'd F&M with Minotaur Storm.
yeah, not many. I'd imagine the answer is probably less than 100. It might be less than 10, honestly.
Two. Second time we've seen two on the stream.
It is, yeah. Did Wyatt roll the 2 last time too?
No, Lucas rolled the two this time. But,
Oh, was it Lucas who rolled the 2? Okay, so
yeah.
Wyatt's going to be on the play. And
I
here we
see
go.
lands and Electromancer. It looks like I see a Fire and Ice.
Okay, not a bad hand, probably.
Interesting.
He's just sending it right back. So he must have 4 lands, Electroman, Fire Ice,
Yeah.
and then
So Fire and
something
Ice
else
is a
wasn't
weird
mentioned.
card for a Storm deck.
It is, yes, very.
Maybe you're trying to get the blockers out the way, and it's essentially a one-man spell that hit cantrips.
Yeah, I think it's probably more of a stall tactic than anything. Tap your land, draw a card. Would be my guess.
Or
I
maybe
don't
you
really
want to
know.
tap their blue down to try to combo off.
Yep, that would be
You go
reasonable
like
too.
upkeep, tap down your blue source, you float, and now we'll go to our main phase.
Yeah, yeah, yep. Makes
Just
a
not the
lot of sense.
typical card I would see in Storm.
No, very rare,
To be
very
fair,
rare.
so is
So
Minotaur Storm. So
yeah,
here we are.
Minotaur Storm's a rarity in and of itself. So who
Hey,
knows?
I love it. You know, I've been playing Boulder Post at RF&M when I do
Yep,
play. So, you
yep,
know.
yep. And there are a lot of weeks where I play Death and Taxes. So yeah, I completely understand.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Lucas found a 6 he's interested in. Wyatt just gonna play planes and pass. Okay,
Up. It
and
looks like
Island
land
pass.
go for turn one. He's going to
All right,
Wall of
Wall of Omens.
Omens.
Draw a card. On to turn 2 for Lucas here.
Mm-hmm.
What will he do next?
Scalding
Land drop.
Tarn. Okay, we're going to go to 19 here. So we got Lucas at 19. We got Wyatt at 20. We have a Wall of Omens at
17 now. I think he's shocking, isn't he?
oh yes he is. So
All right,
17
so
20.
17.
Wall of Omens ain't doing much. It was there to cantrip essentially.
Yep, a little bit of value.
It's really good with Yorion
Yep, pretty good with ephemerate too.
and Flickerwish.
Yep, all of it. All that stuff it is pretty okay with.
Assuming
What is that? A fire ice, sure. So he's tapping your land, drawing a card. I like that. Good tempo. Good tempo. Don't let him spellbind you here. And a shambling vents from Wyatt. Lucas plays land.
we have an Electro
Electro
Boy.
Man.
Oh, and
And a spell. Is that a
Strike It
strike it
Rich.
rich? Yes, it is. And here we go.
Striker Rich is one
I,
red. Is that what it is?
it's a little weird that Lucas exposed the Electro Man here, but fortunately he's not going to get punished. He didn't really use the Electro Man to do anything there. All right, so he's got the Minotaur spell in his hand. That's what that one way at the end there is.
Yeah.
Is that a wish?
No, that's the Iron
Oh,
Feet.
Iron Crag feat. That's an Iron Crag, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I assume he's going to take the Iron Crag. Yep. Okay. Still has that Minotaur action in his hand, though. And it could be bad for Wyatt if Luke is able to generate enough mana. He's definitely going to. Was the Serum Visions? Yep. And he's probably going to flash back to Strike It Rich, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's probably what I'm thinking he's going to do as well. Yeah, talk about post-board matchup. Striker Rich and Aria Flame seems sweet.
Yeah, very cool, definitely. Definitely like it. Yep, and there's the flashback Strike It Rich. And so he'll have a second treasure here. And we'll see if he has a land drop. Does not look like it. Quick attack there from Wyatt. Has menace, so Lucas wouldn't block anyway. But
And that's a
it is
3
menace,
power?
so
Is it a 3-2?
it is, yes. So
So we're
I
at
believe
14.
Lucas is at 14, yeah.
And
Yep.
then I don't see any damage coming from Wyatt.
Yeah, I don't think he's fetched or anything. It doesn't look like there's anything in his graveyard. So yeah, I think
Oh, yeah.
Wyatt's and there's the updated life toll there. Okay, wisping out the grief, love it. I'm gonna get to wreck that hand again. Yeah, and can't tell. I think that's a giver of runes that just hit the table, but I'm not certain. Oh, it's a Stone Forge, obviously, because there's no other reason he'd be getting the Cauldron. So Wyatt getting some pressure on here.
Yeah, what he wants to do here, he wants to close the door sooner than later.
He does. I'm not certain that I like Cauldron better than Sword in this case, because Sword would let you kill the Electro Man. But either way, it will be able to pressure, which is good. But I do think the sword applies a similar amount of pressure, but also lets you control the board and get cards to deplete Lucas's resources. So I think in this case, I actually might have gotten the sword. But we'll see what happens here. Cauldron is a 2-turn clock. Sword also would have been a 2-turn clock. Okay, there's another Electro Man.
Another Striker Rich.
dangerous position here for Wyatt. There are 2 Electromen in play. There's 6 mana, so really 8 mana. If Lucas is able to hit another Minotaur spell, he might just go off. Okay. There's Cauldra coming down.
Yep, activated the Cauldra.
That's going to be an attack for 11, assuming the grief does not attack. That's a little odd. All right. I'm confused. I'm still confused. All right. I guess he just didn't want it to get blocked, so he could still wisp it out. I respect that play, because if it gets double blocked there, it's very unlikely Lucas would block, but if he did block, it could be very bad. So just no reason to risk.
He probably would have blocked. Man.
He had the ink there too. Yeah, that's disgusting. So just no cards left for Lucas. Top deck mode time. Is he the top deck hero? No, he's not. Picking up the cards. See you later, Lucas. Right. On to game 2 we go.
Lucas is down 1-0. Wyatt's up 1-0. The Battle of the 3-0 starts with Black-White Yorion taking it down.
Yep.
For game 1, that is.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was wondering if Lucas is gonna would have the plan to board out the Minotaur plan.
Yeah, that's Andrew and I probably came to. We thought that may have been what he did as well, and you see him taking out Iron Crag feats here.
Yeah, I really think he's taking that out and bringing in the Arya plan.
Yeah, which honestly, Arya might seem good against this type of strategy, but Flicker Wisp against Arya can be kind of embarrassing. So it's a little awkward to try and Arya down a Flicker Wisp deck, because for those that don't know, when Arya enters the battlefield, your opponent gains 10. And then you need to get it up to at least 4 counters to get that 10 damage back. And so if you can wisp it out, you gain another 10 and you reset the counters. So it can be kind of an uphill battle. But I still agree with Lucas that he should be on that plan, just because the Minotaur plan is just so unlikely to succeed against
yeah, because that's a creature-based combo, right? That's a creature card that you got to play. So your Electromancers actually don't do too much to help that reduce.
Well, okay, so funny. It's a spell that gets the Minotaurs. There's like an 8 mana sorcery. I forget the name of it. But there's an 8 mana sorcery that lets you tutor your deck for 4 Minotaurs, and you just put them directly into play. And one of them gives all your Minotaurs haste, and basically you attack for lethal when you do this combo. But yeah, it's very expensive. It's tough to get it through all the hand hate and things of that nature. So yeah, we're probably going to see Lucas kind of deviate his plan a little bit here. But yeah, we'll kind of see what happens. And another thing that makes the Arya plan a little awkward too is if Wyatt is playing cards like Archon of Emeria. Archon of Emeria is going to make it very difficult to actually quickly apply any reasonable pressure with the Arya. And Arya also gets hit by Skyclave Apparition. So there are a lot of annoying cards in Wyatt's deck that will very, very negatively affect Lucas's sideboard plan here. But unfortunately for Lucas, if he does go on the Arya, I mean, there's just not really much that he can do. The matchup's just kind of rough for him, I think.
I agree. So what he needs to do, in my mind, is he needs to try to get Arya with a backup Remand to try to protect it.
Yep.
That way he can untap and try to go off.
Yep.
I think that's the plan that I would be on. I was like, I don't think slamming on turn 3 really will do you anything that's going to help you win. Because there's just so many different 3-drops.
Yeah, you'd have to play it and pray. I mean, it's literally, sometimes you'll have to do that, but hopefully he can put himself in a position where he doesn't have to do that. Looks like he's keeping one land, Strike It Rich, Serum Visions, and some other things there. I can't quite tell, but we'll see what happens here. And so Wyatt down to 6. We'll look at his 7 here and put one of them back, unless he needs to mulligan again. And he's putting one to the bottom, so here we go. And a Shock and a Serum Visions. Or no, Strike It Rich, okay?
Yeah.
Striking It Rich.
Inquisition throws it down, knows he can't do anything about that.
Okay, he did not have a Serum Visions. I saw the opt.
So interesting. Do you just take the namesake in like one of the win cons in Aria? Do you take the Electromancer, which is going to reduce the spells?
Yeah, this is unfortunate that we can't see Wyatt's hand here because this is incredibly important. What is in Wyatt's hand? Personally, I might even take the opt with Lucas not having another land. Yeah, and that's what Wyatt went with. And Lucas is just playing off the top here, so I don't hate that take. Okay, he hits the land. Now, I'm assuming with that take, Wyatt definitely has some sort of answer to the Electro Man. I'm fairly certain of that, and he may also have an answer to the Aria. The awkward thing about the answer to the Aria, though, is answers to Aria are going to be 3 mana, probably. And there are 2 remands in Lucas's hand. So Wyatt is going to have to play really well around the remands. He's going to need to not walk into these remands. Hopefully he can draw a vial. That would help him play around him very well.
Yeah,
but
assuming
honestly,
he's gonna. Okay, I thought he was gonna slam the Aria there.
Yep, I'm very surprised at that line as well. He, I guess, didn't want to lose the treasure. Okay, I really like getting Sword here. Sword is incredibly good here because Sword is going to be able to kill the Electro Man, and it's going to generate you a lot of cards, and it's just going to let you play around the remand so well. And we've already seen cards like Fire Ice out of Lucas. Okay. I definitely get the appeal to get the Cauldron, but I personally would not have gotten Cauldron here.
Yeah, maybe his thing, he's like, I'm 2 turns away from Sword.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
No, I mean, it's a classic. I mean, everybody always wants to get the Cauldron. It's the flashy one. It's the one that's going to, do its thing really well and aggressively. But I think people sometimes go and get it a little too quickly and don't consider their other options. We were doing some testing with a teammate with some legacy D&T, and they were also just always go get the Cauldron. Don't even consider like GT or Sword of Fight. I just that's not a great way to play with Stoneforge. It's very appealing. A lot of players are going to make the play. And I'm not even necessarily saying it's bad, but I just don't think it was the correct line here. But we'll see what happens. If I'm Wyatt here, I'm just not casting spells into these remands. There's no reason to let Lucas draw cards. We have Lucas on a 3-turn clock right now. Okay, flashing back, Strike It Rich. Yep.
Yeah, keep in mind Wyatt is at a higher life total than 20. Yep, there we go.
Yes, he should be at 29. Yep. And if I'm Wyatt right here, I would maybe the only way I might cast a spell into the remand here is if Lucas does not have a natural land drop. If he has to expend his treasure for the remand, it might be worth it because then you're cutting him off of mana. Mm-hmm. But hopefully for Wyatt, he is able to top deck like an Inquisition or a Thoughtseize, because that makes the remands kind of whatever. You can just play your spell again. But I really don't like playing a 3 cost into it. So an attack for 6. So Lucas is going to be down to 6 here, in some trouble. See, I don't. Okay, you make them use the treasure, so that's good. You make them use the treasure. Maybe it was worth it, maybe it wasn't. It's hard to know. I certainly don't like playing into another remand, though. Because not only are you giving them draws, you're also giving them counters on the Aria.
Yeah.
By making these plays.
Looks like he just needs to get a refresher on what the Archon
Oh, yeah,
does.
absolutely. It's also a little awkward he had to show him the Archon. That's not a card I want my opponent to know about.
I guess if he has a Fire Ice right here, you could tap the Cauldron down, try to
Oh yeah.
prevent 5 damage. It could be
Oh yeah.
treated like okay,
All
we're gonna
right. A path to exile. That's pretty good. Pretty
yeah.
good here. Not terrible.
Yep, he
And
does
there's
have
the ice.
yep.
And so this is what I'm talking about why I would have gotten sword. If we had a sword in play right now, this ice would not be able to do anything to our creature that's sorted up. We would have been able to kill the Electro Man with an attack instead of expending our path on it, and our opponent would not be up a land. And we'd be drawing cards, which would be very relevant to hit like hand hate spells and things, and maybe find an answer to this Aria. Or find like an
Would
Aether
he have been
Vial,
able
which
to?
would let us.
Because it was gonna be 2 turns after he got the Stoneforge down for the sword to
Yeah,
do anything.
he's already attacked with the Cauldron twice, so he would have gotten one sword trigger.
He might not have because the fire can go to face to go to the creature too.
It can, yes.
Based on
Yeah, it
that line,
depends.
he wouldn't have been able to like put the sword in play and equipped immediately.
He wouldn't have been able to do it immediately, but he would have been able to do it last turn.
No, he would have to do it this turn.
Nope, he put Cauldron in 2 turns ago, so he would have been able to
No,
put
this is the only thing.
sort
This
of.
is the second time the Cauldron swung because the Cauldron swings immediately when it goes into play.
Right, it's the third time he's attacked though. His opponent's at 5.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, he's hit him. He's hit him yep, yep. And there's another tap effect. Giga Drowse. Very interesting card. Very interesting strategy here from Lucas. All these tap effects.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's his main game plan. He's just gonna try to not die and use the Aria to kill his opponent. Feels like he's playing Aria control.
Yeah, yep. And
Seems to be working though.
yep, it's gonna work out here again. Very slight misstep, but I would have gone for the sword. And obviously we don't know exactly when the fire ice was drawn. If he had the fire ice the turn where he cast the remand on the Archon, then he would have been able to kill that Stoneforge before it got suited up. But if it got suited up, I think Wyatt would have been in quite good shape. So it's hard to say without knowing what was in their hands a few turns ago. But we're going to go to the next game.
Yep. It also
And
depends because that Aria would have been a faster clock than the Fire and Ice would have been. So that's been something.
well, here's the thing. If the sword is equipped, you don't really have to ever cast spells. And funny enough, a sorted up creature is just as fast as a complete, right? It's 5 damage. It's going to be 3 damage the first turn because we're going to kill the Electroman with it. But every turn after that, it's literally the same amount of damage that Cauldron does. And that's on a 1 power creature. If it's on something bigger, it's a faster clock.
No,
but
sure.
that game it would have been on a Stoneforge, so it would be the same flop. But the most important thing about it is we would have been drawing cards. And also the important thing is we wouldn't have had to play any spells at all into those remands. So Lucas would not have been able to convert those for cards, and he also would have been down counters on the Aria.
And like I said, not being able to see the contents of the hands is huge because if he had the Fire and Ice, that just wouldn't have worked either way. So,
yep.
Here we are. Like I said, without getting a clear view, there's no 100% certain what it is, what would have happened. Because I'm not sure if he drew that off the remand, if he already had it.
Yeah, it's hard to know, but I do think that I like getting the sword over the Cauldron, especially now that Wyatt has seen all these tap effects. Well, that's a great start for Wyatt. Doesn't get much better than that. Turn 1 Aether Vial. That's exactly what his deck wants to do. And Lucas here gonna fetch. down to, I'm assuming 17. I think he's going to shock. No, he's just getting an island. So I assume he has another land in his hand if he's able to fetch cautiously here, which is good for him. It's good to not take needless damage. Um, but definitely a little bit of a signal to Wyatt as to some of the contents probably in Lucas's hand. Okay, this is probably going to be a Visions. Yep. So he's going to take a peek at these top two here. Where those going to go? Bottom. Okay, Vial up to 1. Stoneforge. Okay. Now again, I think I would like to get Sword. Okay, he's getting Cauldron again. And it's definitely still fine. It's going to be a good clock. Okay. And are we going to see a Mana Lord here? Nope, we're going to see a Fire Ice. This is another reason I like getting Sword, by the way. Now our Cauldron is just going to sit in our hand unless we have another Stoneforge. If we had a Sword and we have a land drop here, we could just literally be playing the Sword and then putting in a 2-drop. But here's an Inquisition.
Okay. Solve the equation, huh?
Pretty cool. Okay. The Repeal. I would be taking the Repeal here. Really don't want the Vial getting bounced. We got some lands, an Opt, and a Strike It Rich. Don't care about the Strike It Rich. I don't really... Oh, it's 2 Ops, actually. 2 Ops and another island, I think.
It looks like a Steam Vents.
Is it?
I thought it was a Steam Vents.
It might have been. It might have been. It's another land. I know that.
It definitely wasn't a basic land, I don't think.
Okay. I'm a little surprised that Wyatt left him with the Repeal, because the Repeal can bounce the Vial and draw a card here. Yeah, it was a Steam Vents, and he took 2 damage. It looks like Wyatt missed his 3rd land. That could be really bad for him. Okay, there's a wall, and here comes the Repeal, I'd imagine. Yep, Repeal the Vial. Found his land. That's huge. Huge, huge, huge for Wyatt. Let's see what he will do with his 3 mana. He's going to wisp out the wall. He wants to draw more lands. He wants to hit those land drops. I like this play. Get some pressure going as well.
Yep.
But
all right, so he went, and Lucas over here on the other hand is going to go in the turn Opt. Go into his turn. He bottomed it. Something to keep in mind. All right, plays a Steam Vents tap this time.
And there's that 4th land drop. That's big game. Big game here. 1 mana for an Aether Vial. Yep. Lucas says A-OK. It looks like he has another Repeal in his hand. That's going to be pretty sweet.
Wonder if this is a put Yorion in hand turn.
It may be.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Seemed pretty efficient, pretty easy to do it. Yeah, he's just going to repeal the Aether Vial again.
Yeah.
Oh, he tried to play. He wanted to play the Opt because he Opt already.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The save phase.
Just a slight missequence. He knew what he was going to do and just was moving too quickly. No problem there.
Yep.
Okay.
Nothing malicious.
Brawl.
Just, we're all human.
And a Vision.
Both at bottom. He's bottomed a lot of cards. 2 Opts have gone on the bottom.
Yeah, looks like he has multiple Strike It Riches in his hand.
Yeah.
At least 2. Okay, that's a 5th land from Wyatt.
This Flickerwish has definitely attacked at least once.
Ooh, and he had the Sword in his hand. Ooh, a Remand, though. That's going to be gross, because not only And that's 1 mana because of Baral, but not only does he get to draw the card off the remand and resolve the remand, he also gets to resolve the Baral trigger here for countering a spell. So that's pretty good for Lucas. Um, okay, Fatal Push. Now, I think that was a little bit of a miss sequence there from Wyatt. I would have really liked to see the push first, because if he pushes first, then that sword can't get remanded.
Correct. And he probably gonna remand the push only because I think his contents of his hands is quite weak.
Yeah, they're that weak. But that would have been okay for Wyatt because he could have just then pushed again and then resolved the sword. So there'd be a sword in play right now. Okay, tap Godless Shrine. Looks like he's going to try the sword again, and it's going to get disputed. Now, I like dispute coming in. Actually, I think this is a good move from Lucas. It's a very
he had a
intelligent
lot of
decision.
board out, right? If you're taking out
he had
that
a lot
whole
of board
Minotaur
out.
package.
Yeah, the sweet thing about dispute is, first of all, it's 1 mana against Yorion, but that's not really the real reason it's sweet here. If you're able to keep the vials off the table, Dispute is going to trade evenly with most of Wyatt's spells. It's going to be 3 mana counter for 3 mana spells a lot of the time, and that's a fine rate. I played against a Soul type player at the one of the last Pioneer Classics before COVID happened, one of the SCGs. Ooh, that's a really good FM right there. But anyway, I played against a Soul type player who actually boarded in his disputes when I was playing mono white, the mono white Heliod Ballista combo deck in Pioneer at that time. And it was a really good call from my opponent because it traded well with what I was doing. My plan was, play these 3 mana, 4 mana, 5 mana spells. And when that's the plan, and especially when they're all sorceries, Dispute as a 3 mana counter is just fine. So this is a really good boarding decision from Lucas. I really like it. And it's, it's clear why he is 3-0 with this deck with decisions like that. That's just a really intelligent board plan. Really shows he understands what's happening. Okay, and here we got some Giga Drowse action. Lucas just trying to stall the game out here, trying to make this go as long as possible. Try and find some action. He really hasn't found much action yet. We haven't seen a ton. Okay. Boy. Archon is a good one, and if Lucas cannot find a lightning bolt or a bounce effect, he is in huge trouble right now.
Yeah.
Just really, really bad news for Lucas. And it looks like his hand is mostly Strike at Riches. I can't quite... Oh, we're about to find out. What is this? A Giga Drowse again, just trying to buy time. But really is not great. Yeah, it's literally 4 Strike at Riches. Wow. Okay, that's pretty unlucky there for Lucas. That's rough. Oh boy. 4 Strike it rich.
It's brutal.
The funny thing is they would actually be okay if he drew an Aria if there was not an Archon of Emeria in play. But unfortunately for Lucas, there's an Archon of Emeria, which is just really gonna mess him up here. If he can't get this off the table, he just can't do anything. Oh, and Wyatt, I see. Wyatt forgot that he could not play a second spell because of Archon of Emeria. It's both players. You can only play 1 spell a turn. And so Wyatt could not play that Wall of Omens. And there's an Aria of Flame, but it's not doing much at all right now because Lucas can only play 1 spell a turn. So Wyatt's going to go to 19.
He'd have to find a lightning bolt or a repeal right now, but even then I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah.
Because it'll be down to 2.
Yeah, he just isn't going to quite have enough spells, I don't think.
He needed to draw that Aria a few turns ago.
Yeah. And then needed to find an answer, and it's not coming anytime soon. little
Yep.
fist bump action here.
Yep.
Really good match, though. I mean, that was a good match. It was one of our best matches of the whole night. To be honest, it probably was our best match. It was a pretty deep game three there. The only other game three we saw was in round three, and that was a very quick Storm versus Hammer matchup. But this was a nice one. There were a lot of things going on. It was very close. Obviously, I'm excited to see Wyatt win. It's always nice seeing the D&T players having some success in Modern. Yeah, it was a really fun first Swish on location event for us.
I'll agree, and I'll be looking forward to doing more of these. But until next time, this has been Larry and Steven providing you some nice little Swish on location. Make sure to hit a like, follow us, subscribe to our Twitter, to our YouTube page, to the works. Tons of giveaways. We want to give everyone some free stuff. But until next time, we'll catch you later.